Hey everybody, this is Perch, and checking out some mail. I'm slowly working down it. Wish I was getting to it faster. I shouldn't be working front to back though, because I think there's some mails from like 4 months ago I should probably answer at some point. But anyway, this is someday. The last 6 months of this channel will be nothing but me just answering mail. That's that's what it will be. Anyway, this is a cool little note here from Cameron, which is a good comic, a good topic to discuss. So basically, Cameron writes, I got into comics last year. Your videos helped me understand the business history of the fascinating medium. Thank you. I've been trying to get into classic runs of comics to catch up. And so far, I'm trying to read every issue of Fantastic Four in order. That's a tough prospect, but valuable, worth doing. The 60s are an incredible time, but some of your videos have me about continuity have me worried. I know that future writers will change and ignore things wildly, and I wish there was some sort of resource from Marvel that could pitch each major run of an ongoing comic. God, yes, but anyway, we'll get to that in a second. For example, what if there was a graphic novel with an issue of each major run and a corresponding letter from the editor celebrating some of that run's unique qualities and teasing its blockbuster moments? Maybe this way, the larger sea changes or breaks in continuity could be reframed as each era's interpretation of a classic set of characters, almost like the history of James Bond. I don't know if this exists already. It does not. And I just don't know about it, but it seems like an idea you might find interesting. Okay. Just one more little bit and then we'll get to that. That's a great idea, worth talking about. Also, I can't get enough of the back issue digests being reissued. I desperately wish they were on newsprint, like those fantastic Archie Marvel releases a few years back. I was so thrilled when I picked up the FF edition of Mighty Marvel Masterworks a few weeks ago. Cool. Well, so Cameron, first of all, thank you for writing this, because you've thrown out a great idea, another way to market, and an easy one. So one of the things that we've talked about on this channel before and is constantly puzzling is the weird inability of the publishers to kind of maximize their back issue library. And I can't tell. I mean, in the most generous way possible, I think the best answer is people are very busy and they're trying to get out this constant conveyor belt of new comics. And so there's just no time to really go and look into this stuff. I know from talking to people in the company and in Marvel in particular, in David Gabriel's office, that there is concern that it wouldn't work out financially, that if they put a lot of effort into the back issues, into omnibuses, into trades, that they'd spend more money than they would make. I think that's patently false, but I also think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, in part because of what you mentioned here. There's no good guide. There's no good way to say, here's what's out, here's where it's available, here's where you go to get it. There's just nothing like that. And the companies kind of, at some point in the 90s, I think they just ceded control and just assumed the internet would take care of it. The problem is that the internet is increasingly flawed in how it tracks things. There's certainly plenty of wiki sites and everything else, but many of them are in disrepair. Many of them are incomplete. And the ones that are active are, for all intents and purposes, they've kind of become stand sites where people will praise or overhype the runs and the parts that they care about and kind of dismiss the others. I think there's X-Men fan sites where, creators that they don't like just get kind of erased. They just don't talk about them. They don't include them. And somewhere they'll make a little note about, we don't support this person's stance on Israel, so therefore we're just not going to have any of their content in our database. And the problem there, of course, is that that's putting personal judgment above just having a good, coverage of a particular title. And by the way, that's not a random example. That's something that actually several X-Men sites have stated and do with multiple creators, not just current one, but multiple people in that run. So you get this very inaccurate view of history. Now, obviously, the way that could be solved, and I love your idea because it makes money at the same time, it wouldn't be the hardest thing to do. You'd sign a couple people to it. You're not having to create new artwork. In fact, in many cases, and you hit it kind of right there at the end, most people who are wanting to get into this stuff, they want a cheap, quick way to pick it up and consume it. And, they're okay with newsprint. They're okay with cheaper printing. They don't want a recolored book. I mean, We covered it on the retrospective for Weapon X a while back, but they have recolored Barry Windsor Smith's artwork on that for multiple versions horribly. Just it makes it look awful. And in most cases, the mood and the style and the colors and everything that's being used was relevant to the time. I don't want somebody to go back and recolor Kirby work from the 60s. I want it to look like the 60s. That's what most people who are picking up want. And so if it's what's funny about it is it takes more work to make those changes. A really cool project, and you could almost do this with interns and like entry-level editors, is to go back and do what you said. I love the idea. Put out a trade paperback or a graphic novel or something that basically says, celebrating the major runs of, this series. And you have Kirby there, you have the Byrne era, certainly you have the Walt Simonson time, you do the Hickman time, there's a lot of different moments in there. Hell, you even put in the Jim Lee Heroes Reborn bit, and you say, here's, 12 comics from 12 different runs or eras that represent kind of the history of the Fantastic Four. I love the idea. Go back and find some of these editors. I've had many of these editors on this show being interviewed. Imagine a cool, like, little 2-page, like, here's what was going on at the time. Here's what we were doing behind the scenes to kind of get creators on board. Here was what the reaction was to it. I mean, hell, why not even, brag a little bit, put some of the sales numbers in there. I mean, it wouldn't look as good to runs that are coming out in the last 10 years, but put, this show you the true power of the Fantastic Four. And do the opposite of printing it in a prestige format. Put it out on newsprint. Put it out in a volume where for $10 you could see the different runs of the Fantastic Four. And this would be a tremendous ad. I mean, at the very end of it, put in some helpful checklists. If you like this run, here's the comics you want to go to your comic shop and get the back issues for it. You can click a little QR code and you can get it digitally and not the comics, but this little list, and you could send that list off to your comic shop just through email to try and pick it up because you wanted the run. Here's where you can pick up then the omnibuses and the masterwork editions that have all this run printed. And put in an ad for Marvel Unlimited, and if you love this run, again, scan this QR code. It'll take you right into the tool and you can start reading right from here. Put something like that out for $10. It would be great. It's the funny thing is it's almost pure advertising and would be incredibly cheap to produce. It's all the comics are done. Don't alter them. Just they're already scanned in digital. These comics in this run are already up on their Marvel Unlimited platform. So the work involved. I mean, somebody has to chase down the editor. But if Dopey Perch here can go talk to Jim Salicrup, you're telling me that somebody at Marvel can't get the guy on the phone to talk for 20 minutes to just put a little bit of material in there? Of course you can. And that it's a great advertisement. I mean, you could even argue that something like that would be smart to put out for free, and it's desperately needed. So I think it's a great idea. It's an obvious idea of something that the publisher should just go do right now. And I hope they do. It would be smart. So I mean, I'm speechless. Great idea. So Cameron, first of all, I'm glad you're going through and rereading this stuff. People come to me every now and then. It's like, there's this, the guy on Twitter sometimes who chats to me about X-Men stuff. And he started reading kind of at the start of the Claremont run and kind of working his way through. And I always feel this happiness when somebody is going back and they're reading their way through a run, like you with Fantastic Four, other people who I heard you and Joe talking about Legion of Superheroes. So I decided to just go pick up some of the original stuff and I'm going to work my way through it. Same thing about people who jump into One Piece. I feel this happiness inside when people are just going to go and do all that. It's amazing. You're in for such a great ride because there's amazing comics in there. I've said it before. Some of the best comics out there are ones that came out a long time ago that you've just never read before. It's a good feeling of optimism that there are the best comic you've never read. It exists right now. You just got to find it. It's out there. and you're going to find something that's going to hit home with you that you're going to remember for years and years. So it's always a cool thing. Cameron, thanks for writing. And anybody wants to drop me a note, the email's always in the description of the videos. And awesome idea. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for listening.